Hello. So here's just a little walkthrough on some of the things I see when I'm looking at these slides to help me identify what they are. So let's take a look at epithelial tissue first. And one of the big characteristics of epithelial tissue is they always have an apical and a basal surface. There's always a section open to the air or not attached to other tissues, and a portion that is attached to other tissues, the basal surface. Right here, what we're seeing is just simple squamous. So simple, meaning a single layer of flat cells. Okay, so on this one, we are looking from the top down. So the stuff we are seeing here, when I outline this cell membrane, I'm looking from the top. So I'm seeing the apical surface of this stuff. It's not a cross section. There's a cell membrane, nucleus, and all the cytosol. Cell membrane and nucleus. Same thing over here. A little harder to make out. My drawing's not going to be perfect because I'm using my smartboard and it's not perfectly calibrated. But that looks to be about the cell membrane and the nucleus here. And we can see some nuclei. This nuclei looks like it's crossing over between a cell that's over here and a cell that's under here. And that has to do with just a little bit of overlap in what we're seeing in the slide itself. So here is another example of tissues. And just taking a look at this here, I am not seeing multiple layers. All right, the cells are really wide. Right, here's the outline of the cell. Really wide with a bit of a nucleus. I'm seeing them from one side. So to me, these look like squamous cells or flat cells. I happen to know that these are stratified squamous cheek cells, but they would be if they were in situ in there, so the tissue stacked up one on top of the other. Right now we're looking at them at the apical surface of these. All right, this one. First off, we can tell it is epithelial tissue because we have an apical surface. It's not attached to anything. And the basal surface runs about here. Let's see. Hard to see on my screen that I'm using in here. Actually, no, that would be up here. There we go. The basal surface. And we see up on top, I mean, hardly even can't even see cells. It looks like flakes at this magnification. And so it's a lot of layers of things that look like flakes. This, folks, is stratified squamous. Many layers of flat cells. Now near the bottom, it's hard to make out in this particular picture. They're a little bit more cube shaped on the bottom where they're closer to all the blood supply that's down here. And that's where they're doing their growing and dividing. So they're not quite squamous yet, but they are classified as a squamous cell. Here we go, guys. What do we think? We've got an apical surface and a basal surface. So we're looking at epithelial again. And the cells here, like here's a cell, right? With a nucleus, another cell with a nucleus. And as you go further down or deeper into this tissue, the cells get a little plumper looking. This is, again, stratified, many layers of flattened cells. Just a different sample. So it's going to look a bit different than the other one. Not as many layers, and it's at a closer magnification than we saw before. All right, let's take a look at this one. Well, first off, I can see a whole ring here where these cells are not attached to other cells. That is the apical surface right there. Then I can see the side of the tissue where it does attach to other tissue. Right there, and that'll be the basal surface. And then here, we can see the cells, big central nuclei. Okay, so those are roughly cube-shaped cells, and they are epithelial because we have this right here. Now, this isn't open to the air on the outside of the body. This is open to a tube. These are kidney tubules. So it's a single layer of cuboidal cells or simple cuboidal. And the apical surface is, in this case, on the inside. It's open to a cavity. All right. Once again, clearly see this is epithelial on this one. There's the apical surface. Here is the basal surface. We got a bunch of reticular tissue down here, which we don't need to worry about at this point. Same thing over here. Here's the apical surface. Here's the basal surface. And we can see these tissues, guys, pretty clear. Column-shaped cells with pretty equal nuclei right in the middle. So this, my friends, simple columnar, one layer of columnar cells, simple columnar. Same thing down here, a little bit harder to tell in this image. Okay, but we have simple columnar. All right, let's take another look. Here, epithelial again. We got an apical surface. We got a basal surface. Apical, basal. These little fluffies, those are cilia. Same thing here, these ones are cilia. Now, the trick here is that we can see all these nuclei at lots of different levels, kind of stacked over each other. It looks like there's almost one here, one there, another one up there. It gives the impression that these are maybe cube-shaped cells. Right here, this is a goblet cell. We've got mucus vacuoles here, giant ones. They're really cool looking. Okay, those are all mucus vacuoles. But these are pseudostratified ciliated columnar. They are one layer of columnar cells. The ones in the upper left have the mucus in those areas. Down here we don't have mucus, but these are all pseudostratified ciliated columnar. They give the impression that maybe they're stratified, that they're stacks of maybe cube cells or columnar-shaped cells, but they're not. They are top to bottom, one layer of cells. All right, take a look here. We've got some cells, big poofy ones on the apical surface. Okay, here's our basal down here. Basal, they look a little bit more cube shaped. As you get towards the top, they have these big puffy cells with the big nuclei in them. Almost look like poofed up marshmallows. That is the dead giveaway, and we see it over here too, that we are dealing with transitional epithelium. Okay, what we see lining bladders, these big dome-shaped cells on top, these are great. They can go from this big poofy dome to kind of flattened out. And those same three cells can then cover a lot more surface area, and you can get an expanding and contracting bladder with that type of tissue. It can get really big or really small. Let's take a look at connective tissues. Now, connective tissues, we're not going to see apical and basal surfaces, but a key characteristic we're going to see is the fact that they have a lot of extracellular matrix, non-living extracellular matrix. So everything we see here is in a cell, like on the epithelial tissues. This right here, guys, we got this big thing in the middle. Oh, green's not a good color there. Big thing in the middle. Okay. And then we got these little things out here, these little dark things. And we got these little cracks running through here. So what is this? This, my friends, is bone. Bone. Cross section of bone. This big thing in the middle, that's a blood vessel. There's a blood vessel. There's a blood vessel. And then we've got these little things here. Those are the actual osteocytes, the bone cells, sitting in their little cavities called lacuna or lacunae. And it gives you the overall impression of a target or a bullseye, which is kind of a pretty distinct characteristic of that. All right. Here's one. Here we can see the lacunae much better. There's that little cave. Inside that cave, we have the cell. In this case, it's a chondrocyte because this has this really smooth extracellular matrix here. Almost looks like plastic. It's very cool to look at under the scope. That is the dead giveaway that we are looking at haline cartilage. Okay, we got lacuna with cells in them and a lot of extracellular cartilage matrix. All right, this one looks really funky, doesn't it? let's see here. We've got, there is the cell membrane. And then we got the nucleus up here, and this whole middle part looks empty. It's not. It's full of fats and oils. This is adipose tissue. Okay, it looks like a bunch of engagement rings, right? Now you may or may not see the nucleus in every single one of these, like that one there you didn't. But this one here you do. Here's the nucleus, and there's the cell. Big, what looks like empty space in the middle, but is actually oil, nice and clear. That is adipose or fat. All right, this one's also a loose connective tissue. You can tell pretty clearly. I mean, there's no apical or basal surface. We can see our cells kind of floating around. There's the cell membrane, the nucleus right there. And then we got these big, fat, pink fibers. That's collagen. And then we got these thin little fibers. That's elastin. I don't remember if there's any of that word, but that's elastin. So, and then we got all this empty space, which is a different color. All this empty space in here, that's the ground substance that we talked about. Okay. And we're looking at areolar tissue. Very loose. It underlines most mucous membranes in the body. This one looks much denser, doesn't it? So we've got these little dark things here. These are the cells in the nuclei right here. And these ones are all running the same direction. We can see we got fibers running right next to each other, packed in really tight here. And you can see that to a certain extent over here. It's going in this direction. But this is a tendon, okay? Or fibrous connective tissue, all run in the same direction. But you can see a little bit of that waviness over here, so it's not like it's a bone. It's got some give to it. Looking at the three types of muscle. All right, this first one got big nuclei. Okay, we've got striations, all these little stripes going here. We've got the shape of the muscle. Like that, kind of that branching structure on that particular one. So we got striations, which means it's either cardiac or skeletal. The giveaway that this is cardiac, though, is the fact that we have intercalated discs, these thicker things at the ends. You can see them here, where the cells meet. That allows the cardiac muscle to communicate better and transmit electrical signals between each other. And they've got big single nuclei per cell, as opposed to lots of little nuclei per cell, which we see in skeletal. And this should say slide 13, by the way, not 13 and 14. All right, here, once again, clearly can make out the striations. So it's either cardiac or skeletal. These cells are long and straight. And we can see here they have multiple nuclei pushed out to the edges of the cells because they're packed up with, these ones are running this way, striations are going this way. And there's the nuclei. So definitely skeletal muscle, which would be slide 14. Long, multinucleate striations, not branching. All right, what do you think this one is? Let's kind of outline it. So here's the outline of this cell, pretty obviously. There's a nucleus, there's a nucleus. Here's another cell. There's a nucleus, there's a nucleus. So I don't see striations though. So does that mean it's smooth muscle? No, kind of looks like fat, right? Except we got stuff in the middle. It's not that clear oil. The giveaway here, guys, is that we have multinucleate cells. And a few of these, we can see there are more than one nucleus. This is also skeletal muscle, but we're looking at it in cross section. So rather than looking along the length of the muscle fibers or cells, we're cutting them across, like you're looking down a bunch of straws, and we're seeing them end on. And lastly, we got here some smooth muscle. The cells, a little hard to make out here, but they're kind of kayak shaped in here, with the nucleus there. Not perfectly aligned, not real big, no striations. So we've got smooth muscle. Well, I hope this helps you guys in your identification, and we'll catch you in lab in a little bit.